Hello and welcome to One Man Think Tank. You might have seen this article or some news about this that Congress might be reconvening to pass a new COVID stimulus bill. Now, there has been pressure from both the Trump campaign and the Biden campaign to do this. I'm going to give you a little bit of history, then we're going to dive right into the actual bill itself/bills that are being debated. You see, back during the initial phases of the COVID-19 outbreak, we got a big bill from Congress. Essentially, it was supposed to be the first of many stimulus bills, but has still remained to be the only one. In practice, there were some minor changes, but overall the only bill. You see, it gave everyone that $1,200 check, it created the $600 a week unemployment subsidy, it provided large loans to businesses, not theoretically small businesses, but not always, and helped subsidize paid sick leave for some employers through those loans to businesses. Now, there has been nothing done since, and the Democrats and Republicans have been fighting over which stimulus bill to pass, essentially. The Democrats have proposed this very large bill. We're actually seeing it right here. It's called the HEROES Act. The Democratic bill would be almost $2 trillion. It would provide another round of those subsidy checks directly to Americans, revive the $600 a week unemployment subsidy, provide, and this is very important, funding to state and local governments who are cash-strapped. Right now, the money isn't open to them to be used. And more importantly as well, it would also kind of put a few more protections in place for ensuring the money goes to small businesses as opposed to just being gobbled up by large corporations. Now, what also happened is the Republicans put forward a bill that in October that was kind of meant to be a, oh look, we're trying to pass a bill but the Democrats won't pass it type thing. And if you're used to politics, you already know the usual reason whenever the Republicans introduce a bill that sounds reasonable and aligned with the Democrats, and it doesn't end up getting passed, is due to the fact it's got a poison pill in it. Meaning, well, almost 99% of the bill is good. There is one very harmful provision in it that means the Democrats won't pass it. This is a classic tactic used by Republicans, especially Mitch McConnell, to avoid actually having to pass legislation that is popular with the American people, but making it look like they like it. And so their bill, which is a $500 billion package, so roughly 4 times smaller than the Democrats', includes more small business relief and public health funding. It does not renew the weekly unemployment, no more subsidy checks, and most importantly, and they don't cover it in the Business Insider article, but this is the real reason the Republican bill hasn't been passed. It contains a poison pill provision, like I said before, and this one is specifically, if you get sick at your business, so let's say you're an employee of McDonald's, and an employee gets COVID, and the business doesn't warn you or give you the ability to avoid it, right now they could face legal prosecution. However, under the new bill, they would be immune. So they don't have to tell you if there's a COVID outbreak at the McDonald's or at the Walmart or wherever, or in your office, wherever you work. This is why the Democrats haven't passed it. In the lead up to Election Day, I saw a lot of people talking about this and going, well, why don't the Democrats just pass this bill? If Mitch McConnell's just stonewalling it. No, Mitch McConnell put a poison pill provision in this bill that he's going to ensure stays in it. It's not about the dollar amount. In many ways, it was not about who gets credit. It was about that one provision. And anyone who is ignoring that is either ill-informed or is trying to spin a narrative. This wasn't some kind of democratic weakness or, well, bipartisanship has just failed. No, it was genuinely this one provision. That's the debate. I think if it was removed, this bill would pass. And if it doesn't, all of the criticisms lobbied at the Democrats would be correct. But we've seen this song and dance before. It involves, such as something called the Hyde Amendment, jokingly referred to as John Oliver, so it's Hyde, H-Y-D-E, as the Hyde Amendment because H-I-D-E, they try and hide it in everything. It bans public funding for abortion, or from going to organizations which provide it. And Republicans do this all the time. They will fund in pick a random bill that's unrelated to whatever it is and stick in a provision Democrats can't pass. So, let's say it's a bill that would increase minimum Social Security benefits to $3,000 a month. This has never happened, but an example, a very, very progressive piece of legislation, which let's say the Democrats are in favor of, and Republicans say they're in favor of it. Then Republicans, what they do is they smuggle a little piece of legislation they know Democrats will never pass. So it makes abortion illegal. It says children should be provided with a mandatory handgun upon turning 5. It completely deregulates banks, or something extreme. Nothing they'd actually be able to pass, but a provision they know their supporters like, and they can go to moderates and go, well, look at this. Democrats refuse to increase your Social Security, improve your health care, or make your grass greener. And we're not going to tell you about why. We're going to say they don't like the general bill. So that's the news, but I just want to go on a little side tangent about how we can stop this in the future. And this is a very controversial thing, but in my opinion, it is a necessary evil, despite the fact I am a big picture policy reform guy. It's called a single subject amendment, or a single subject provision. What that provision is, if it's just a law, amendment means if it's in a state or federal, or in the federal constitution. What it essentially means is a Democrat introduces a bill, and it's about healthcare. Only provisions attached can be about healthcare. Republican introduces a bill about road funding. The bill can only include provisions in relation to road funding. Passing this provision would prevent further chicanery in politics, and overall is actually the law in, I believe, 45 states. And overall, most of them seem to be doing kind of well for themselves. So with that all being said, if you liked the video, drop a like down below and a comment. Feel free to also subscribe and click the notification bell so you can be alerted when new content is released. If you want to hear more from me outside of YouTube, I do have a Twitter, @OneManThinkTan1, the Roman numeral, link in the description below. Otherwise, as always, have a wonderful day.